Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we got another special review going on for today. And this is a figure that I was really eager to get my hands on as soon as I saw the reveal. And now I'm just happy to finally have it. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Dino Trackers Camouflage and Battle Indominus Rex. So this is a brand new Indominus Rex figure from Mattel, and I guess you could say this marks Mattel's second Indominus release, at least in terms of different sculpts, but technically altogether it's, I think, Mattel's third Indominus Rex release, because they had the extreme damage, but that one was pretty much just the same sculpt as the Destroy and Devour Indominus Rex. But if you want to count new sculpts, this is our second Indominus Rex from them, and wow, this thing just looks super cool. I'm super happy I have it. I found this at my local Target. I am super happy to finally have this thing. This thing just looks awesome. It might even be the best Indominus Rex from Mattel, just by taking a look at it in the box right here. Obviously it's already open, but based on what I see here, this thing just looks really cool. And I just can't wait to get into it because there's a lot to talk about. So here is our basic packaging here. You got the blue and beta here in the corner, Jurassic World, Camouflage and Battle Indominus Rex, Dino Trackers, Mattel. Shows you has a cool light up feature, which is a lot better than the previous one in my opinion. And for some reason they put this in the mountainous environment. I don't know why. I would definitely think that's more of a jungle animal in my opinion, especially since it's only been in the jungle. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting though. On the side of the box here, you got both Jurassic World and Dino Tracker logos. And then here on the back, it just shows you what it does. It has the fax app information. It says side to side attack, camouflage and chomp, has lights and sounds, and then a cool render of the figure, which actually looks really cool. Makes it look like this Indominus Rex has another head peeking out of the mouth, which is pretty weird to look at. I wonder if Jurassic Park would actually ever plan on doing that, giving us a weird hybrid mutated dinosaur with the mouth coming out of the main set, or the main head right there. I don't know, it's pretty weird. Seems like something from Chaos Effect. I don't know, that's just what I thought of when I saw that. And then here we got the new Dino Trackers T-Rex, which I'm super excited to get this one because it's a brand new paint job, so it's not like Rexy, but also comes with tracking gear. But that's basically it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this Indominus Rex. Alrighty, so here we have our Camouflage and Battle Indominus Rex out of the box, and this thing just looks awesome. I can't believe it's been so long since my last Indominus Rex that I've actually purchased at the store. That was the Destroy and Devour Indominus Rex way back in 2019, and now, years later, I finally got myself another one, and this one just might even be the best one, like I said. The overall look at it, it's just much better. The head is a bit smaller, the arms are larger, or I guess longer, I guess you could say. The feet are smaller, the tail is longer. So this thing is just so far better proportionate than the previous one. So yeah, this thing is already looking to be the best Indominus Rex on the market, I guess you could say, at least for an official Jurassic Park toy line. Taking a look at the head sculpt here, we'll start off with that. So the head sculpt here is really nicely done. Nice amount of scales going out all throughout the head here. A little bit different than their previous one, I would say, but really nicely sculpted. I like how it's a little bit more smoother and less bumpy. It's really cool looking. And then here on the top of the skull here, just some nice finer scales all throughout. Same with the eye there, nicely sculpted. So just your classic Indominus Rex head, I would think. It got some nice texturing on the top right here, some nice bumps, and you know, osteoderms are just some spikes sticking out, and you got the two classic horns on the top there. So really nicely done. Nice looking face. I like how the head is a lot more thinner than their previous one, which obviously the previous one was made to swallow figures, which is why they had to kind of expand or thicken the head a little bit more. But I like the more narrower head in my opinion. And the teeth are much better than the previous one. Not only are they long and sharp, but yes, they are made of a rubbery material and they're not painted, which means you're not going to get paint scuff on these. No matter how rough you play with it or pose it or whatever, you're not going to scuff up the teeth, which is amazing. And then the inside of the mouth is really nicely done, nicely sculpted. The sunlight kind of makes it hard to look here, but nicely sculpted. I like how we have an actual tongue here. The previous one had a really tiny tongue, only because of the action feature, but this one has a much larger one, which is really nice, but really cool looking. Definitely the best head sculpt for this Indominus Rex. And moving on to the neck here, got some nice finer scales all throughout the entire neck here, and some nice folds and texturing on the underside. And you got a nice row of osteoderms or bumps, scoots, whatever you want to call them, that go literally from the head all throughout the entire body and up to at least this part of the tail. So really nice looking there. Just your classic Indominus Rex sculpting. Then you got the nice looking quills up here, which are not a hard plastic like the previous one, but these ones are made of a rubbery material. So really nice there. And then here, moving on to the body here, the body is really nice and muscular. Nice folds and creases in the skin, and a nice little bumps all throughout, and some nice scale detail all throughout. So Mattel knocked it out of the park in terms of sculpt work and detail with this figure. So really well done. I think this is even more movie accurate than their previous one. Here are the arms, long and muscular. Nice attention to detail on them. Some nice quills on the underside like in the movie. And you got the famous hybrid looking hands that it has here. So really nice, you know, with the thumb. So very creepy hands. This was like a big deal when we saw our first Jurassic Park dinosaur with opposable thumb, but super cool. And here on the underside, just some nice sculpt work. So really nicely done. So you got some nice skin wrinkles right there. And here on the legs are nice and muscular, very accurate to the Indominus Rex in the movie. I like all these bumps right here on the side of the thigh right here. Muscle definition looking nice, but just the overall sculpt work just looks really great. Same with the feet. Feet are a little bit more accurate to the Indominus Rex in the film than their previous one, I would think, in my opinion. Here it is on the other side. So really nicely done. So nice job, Mattel, on this, and everything's nicely sculpted. And then here is the scan code here on the thigh, which I really wish they would have put this in like somewhere on the body, but I know that kind of might interfere with the lights gimmick, but I guess that's okay. It does make it a little hidden. It's not as well hidden as the rubber T-Rex, but you know, it is what it is. But here's the scan code in case you guys need that. On the other side here, it gets some nice folds in the skin right here that pretty much continues all the way down this part of the tail, and then some nice sculpt work on the underside as well as the top side with some nice scales all the way through. So nice amount of detail throughout. And same with here with the tail, which is made of a rubbery type of material, at least a bendy plastic, so it feels really nice. And here on this hand too, we can see it's the same thing. So overall, a really nice sculpt on this Indominus Rex figure. In terms of colors, the colors are very basic, you know, that's to be expected. The Indominus Rex didn't really have a lot of colors. It wasn't very colorful. So they got the whitish or light gray color down very well, with some, you know, dark brown hints here at the top of the head, here on the quills, and here on the back, as well as on the skull indentations on the face right here. So here at this part, around the eye, and then here. So I like how they make this a different color just to kind of bring out the head a little bit more. And then the orange eyes are super menacing looking, and they actually pop really well against the dark brown on the face. The teeth are nicely painted in like a, or not painted, but I guess they're in a nice yellowy color, just to kind of match like teeth, but also to make it stand out from the whiter color on the body. And the complete inside of the mouth is like the pink fleshy color, which is perfect. So really good there. Unfortunately, the fingernails aren't painted, but the original one that Mattel made back in 2019 didn't have them painted, so I guess that's all right. And then the main 3 toes are painted in the same brown color, except for the dew claw, unfortunately, but at least that's painted. But other than that, the paint job, even though it is basic, matches the dinosaur very well in my opinion. The articulation in this figure is much better than the previous one. There were too many action features in the other one in my opinion, so there wasn't a lot of posability. This one has a little bit more posability than the original, which I think makes it much better, only because you don't have to have an action feature for the legs or for the arms. For the mouth and neck, that's fine, that's to be expected, but you don't need an action feature for every part of its body. So in terms of normal articulation, here at the arms, you can move them basically 360 all the way around, and they can pivot in and out, but they kind of stick open when you pivot it in the mount, like this way. So you have to kind of somewhat force it down. Not too bad though. So that's really nice. And then the elbows here can bend forwards and backwards. Hopefully you guys can see that all right. Or at least here on this one. Forwards and backwards. And this part can rotate all the way around, so that's really nice. And the entire arm right here is made of that same soft plastic, rubbery plastic as the tail. So you can kind of bend it in weird ways if you wanted to. But that's really cool. I love how the arms are all just posable. Makes it much better than just a grabbing motion. And the legs here, the legs can move individually, which is much better than that same like movement where both hips move at the same time. I wasn't really a huge fan of that on the first one, but this one, as they can move individually, is much better. So you can move them basically all the way around 360. And then the ankles can move, obviously. And surprisingly, this thing can pivot in and out. So nice range of motion for stability. And then the tip of the tail here can also rotate, which is very interesting as well. And that's basically it for classic articulation. For action features, there's just a button here on the tail that if you push it, it makes the mouth open and it does some roars, and that light up feature. And you can twist the tail to make the head move. So like that primal attack gimmick back in 2020. So really nice there. I really do like that. We'll go ahead and test out the sounds, and then we'll test out the lights inside. So let's go ahead and test out the sounds. You can twist the tail too if you wanted to. Really nice there. Hopefully you guys heard those sounds. The sounds are really nice, classic Indominus Rex noises, and yeah, really don't have any complaints there. The action feature is just really good on this one. Let's go ahead and get to a darker area and test out the lights on this figure. So the light up feature on this Indominus Rex is really cool looking, much better than that red light at the throat of the first Indominus Rex that's supposed to highlight it eating something. I think this one's much better, much more faithful to the dinosaur in the film with its camouflage ability, and that little bright light feature does look like it's camouflaging in the jungle. I'll have to try it out on actual like jungle leaves in the background at some point in the future. But I tested it out inside the house, and it looks really cool. I love how it flashes and pulsates, you know, like on and off, like a display feature. And actually, based on the Beyond the Gates episode, it is based off of the chromatophore display that cuttlefish actually have. So it kind of blinking like that in a rapid direction and just kind of like flowing throughout the body is just like what a cuttlefish will do. And I find that really cool, especially how Mattel takes inspiration from living animals and applies them to their toys. I think that's awesome, and I hope we get more of that in the future. But overall, the overall lights on the figure itself are really nicely done. Now, for comparisons, the one thing that really caught my attention is that when I got this new Indominus Rex figure, how incredibly small it was. It's much smaller than the original one, as you can see right here. So that actually might be my only complaint with this Indominus Rex figure, and that is its smaller sized scale. Now yes, it does make it fit perfect with the Mattel's Giganotosaurus, and they're more original sizes for their T-Rexes, so not like the Thrash and Devour one, since that one has a bigger head, but their other T-Rexes and the Spinosaurus, they all match pretty perfectly. But I think this Indominus Rex, the 2019 one, definitely had the better scale because it was big, it was huge, it was the giant hybrid of Jurassic World that terrorized everything. So it towered over the T-Rex and all that, and that was really fun. That was super cool to play around with. And now they kind of brought this Indominus Rex down to scale, and I'm not sure how I really feel about that. I really wish it is a little bit bigger, but it is what it is. It is a great figure overall, and probably a more superior one than the 2019. The 2019 may have the better size, but this one has the better everything, in my opinion. And as you can see here, as we compare them both, they're a lot different. There's a lot of differences here, not just the scale. The scales on the face are all different, so there's less, like, the scales are more popping out of the face a little bit more, for lack of a better term. They're a lot more noticeable, and then whereas this one, they're a lot more toned down and smoother. This one's a little more sharper, which is very interesting. And as you can see here, this one has a giant head, mainly because the swallowing gimmick, has a shorter tail, smaller hands, larger feet, so it wasn't necessarily the most proportionate animal for an Indominus Rex figure, but this one definitely wins for that. But it's really cool to compare both of these Indominus Rex figures. They're really cool. I'll definitely hold on to all of them. And also, not to mention, this one stands much better than this one. This one is already falling over. I can't even stand it up anymore, which is pretty upsetting, but it is what it is for the most part. Even the action feature on the new one is a lot better than the old one. This one, you just push a button and it makes noises. This one, you had the whole arm movement, and then you have the jaw movement, which was pretty cool. But the lights and sounds on mine don't even work anymore. But if you stand this guy up in his neutral pose, which when we first got it, this thing is just ginormous. That thing is just like huge. That's why I love the scale on that one. But unfortunately, they brought it down. Either way, they look really nice together. Here it is compared to the human. Here we got the 93 Classic Alan Grant. And I guess you could say, this is the Indominus Rex's sister from Jurassic World that she ate. I guess you could really do that. That actually makes these as a pair like really nice. But yeah, the human compared to it, a lot better with this bigger one. But it's a nice scale overall. So also you can make the Indominus Rex like eat people, which is really cool with the teeth. So really cool looking there. And also you can make the Indominus Rex hold figures, which is always a plus. The original one did that as well. Same with the Hasbro one too. But really cool how you can make it hold people just like in the movie. So that's super cool right there. Alrighty everyone, so that's about to wrap it up for this review. For my final thoughts on this figure, I really love this Indominus Rex. Definitely the best Indominus Rex figure from Mattel, but probably the best one for a Jurassic Park toy line in my opinion. The features are awesome, the articulation is an improvement, the overall sculpt and proportions are much better, the teeth are better, so everything about this figure is really cool. The only thing I would say that's probably a downgrade is the scale. It's definitely much smaller than the bigger one. Really wish it was that same bigger scale, but that's okay. Overall, the sculpt and the overall look of this figure is really nicely done, and I highly recommend it for any Jurassic Park collector out there. And just keep an eye out for finding this guy in your local Targets. It should already be out by now, but just keep an eye out in case you guys haven't seen it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys again for the next one.